Thank you for joining us. I'm Michael Miller. Our guest today is Frank Calderon from the Solid Waste Department. Thanks very much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Michael.
So I wanted to get to this right away. We went and we looked up. We had our researcher look this up because I sort of asked last week. So according to what we found, in 2025, as of September, Miami-Dade Sheriff's Department issued 1,482 civil citations, made 78 felony arrests, and 151 misdemeanor arrests for illegal dumping, levying over $1 million in fine. That's a big deal. And you guys, you're going to get caught if you do it. May not be this time, but the next time, one of those times you're going to be out there doing that.
So now I want to find out how many civil citations our own officers did. They can't do the arrests, obviously, but they can do the civil citations because, add that to that. But the number I find most impressive, even though it's the lowest number, is just what follows it. 78 felony arrests for illegal dumping. Felony.
Can you imagine you get pulled up by a policeman and say, I see you have a felony? And the cop would probably start rolling and laughing. I said, you deserve to get this traffic ticket because you got caught with your stuff. So we talked about on bulky waste pickup. So we had a neighbor move. I decided after 40 years we could cut down that tree. It was like halfway. It was between the two fences. And so our landscaper says, listen, call the county, book a date. So last week, the first open date was December 26th. That was essentially a month. It's there.
Yeah, it's
Is that sort of standard?
This time of year, you just get higher demand. And now it's limited by the appointments by however many pickups they can do in a day. But yeah, the fact that you at least got December 26th and not. I think it's a lot of it is just people put in and they want to get it done before Christmas. And when they see they can't, forget it.
So what I did is I had the first guy come. I said, no, you have to cut it now. He says, I'm going to pay you to take it away. The second load for us is he's coming back on the 20th or 23rd, something like that. Because you can't put it out more than 3 days.
3 days, correct.
And I get it. And I think I saw somewhere it said about 80 pickups. So these guys during the month, it has to be more than that, no?
I think that's per day.
Oh, per day.
Yeah.
All right. Wow.
So, we have several crews. It's not one.
You better watch out wherever the dump is, where it's going. We got a lot of trash.
Yeah.
So let me ask you. So when a home gets, an old home gets torn down, that's construction material. That's concrete and wood and all that
Construction
stuff.
demolition.
And that goes to.
We generally don't take it. There's private landfills that take it. And some of that stuff can actually be recycled or reused in some fashion. I don't know all the ins and outs about it, but yeah.
So I was reading one of the states, or maybe it was one of the counties, what they were saying is if you're going to demolish a home, a certain percentage of what you demolish has to be recycled, reused. We're not going to take your stuff. Figure out what to do with it, right? And I don't know if we refer to it as Chicago brick. I don't know if it's really Chicago or do I know whether it's really brick or not. But that's that concept which is used before. So since we brought up about littering and dumping, littering is like flicking something out the window.
Typically smaller handheld items, typically.
Right. And but the illegal dumping, I'm proud of the county to be able to do that, right? And I think one of the things that happened here, it's not in this report, where they took the guy's vehicles from him.
Yeah, they will do that if you're caught illegally dumping. That's one of the things they can. That's one of the tools that they're at the disposal of enforcement.
So illegal dumping is when you pull up your car and you just unload
Typically larger items, yeah.
And I know that there are certain areas that are worse than others, but where are some of the areas where illegal dumping seems to be?
Unfortunately, all over.
Is that right?
Pretty
it's
much.
Everywhere.
There's all over. There's just lots of places, south, north, central, unfortunately, yeah.
And for people that think they can get away with, go ahead, turn on Facebook and TikTok and see if your neighbors that are doing stupid stuff is not on camera.
It could very well be on camera and find itself on our social media channels, potentially.
Are you going to just, look at this guy. That's wonderful.
Potentially, yeah.
And speaking of social, let's talk about when your next events for home chemical, where people can take home chemicals.
I don't know when the next one is. It's next year. I just don't know when they start. and I still have to get them posted on our website. He just reminded me for next year so people can plan.
Yes, and I think that's an essential part of a marketing plan is make sure that gets included there. And when somebody subscribes to it, they're going to get all your stuff.
Yes. Oh, one thing, by the way, for next year for the home chemical collection, one thing we're adding new at the mobile events only, we're going to offer paper shredding. And it's going to be basically run the whole time that the home chemical event. I think they're going to restrict it to like basically 2 bankers boxes per family or per household. But yeah, that's something new that we're going to start doing next year.
Some people think that if they take your really private paperwork and put it in the garbage, then no one's going to see it. That's not the case at all, because that goes somewhere, right? Human hands are pretty close to it. And so shredding works. Somebody, a family member died, and they said, will you take care of this stuff here? And I looked at it. It was all banking information. So I actually burnt it, right? I put it in a raccoon trap. So, and I stood there with my hose, but I didn't want to put it in the garbage. I didn't want it because I see when we have people that come recycle our stuff.
Yeah.
So I asked him, what do you do? He said, we put it out on the floor. We put the computers, the metals over there. We put the recycling stuff here. We put the papers over there. And there's some kid, oh, look at this. So people really need to be careful. And so social media, you'll tell people when on social media it's going to be on, which is January, February, something like that.
Most likely, yeah.
And they can sit there, they can watch it be chewed up. Have you ever seen the big trucks where they take all your business stuff, business documents, and they put it in the back of the truck, and that machine just chews it up?
I think that's what they're going to have. Is they're going to have a truck. I don't know how big the truck is going to be, but yeah, they have the machine. They have a cart, and they dump it just like almost like we do, and then it gets shredded. And I think they even have a TV, a video camera, so you can see it getting shredded. If I'm not mistaken,
it's really extraordinary, and it's very comforting. So if the FBI wants to put that back together, have a good time.
You know, that's funny. You mentioned that some DARPA, which is the skunk works, for lack of a better word, for the Defense Department, some time back did a crowdsourcing type thing, and they were going to pay somebody 6 figures. They had like a puzzle, basically. They had like supposedly shredded document, and if you could put it together correctly, the first person that could do that, and they posted this online. So I don't know how you do it, because it's a computer picture or JPEG. So you'd have to print it out, cut it out with the lines they had, and then reassemble it. And if you reassemble it correctly and got the correct solution, the first person to do that, they would come back. So even shredded.
If we could start Friday after work, we could come and lay it out on the table. You think we could figure out?
Spend the whole weekend.
About 6:30, I'm out. Right? No ADD allowed in that. Right. So why don't you tell folks again? Number one, how you investigate illegal dumping. They see a whole bunch of the stuff there. So tell us what happens.
There are a couple of different ways they do it. There's the old gumshoe type work where they have our officers go out and check through a pile. If they see a pile of illegal dumping, they'll look through it. They'll find any potential evidence that could tie it to a business or a home. They've done that before. There was a case some time back where they found some paperwork that belonged to a resident. They went to the resident's home and they said, we found this material with your address. And the resident was lucky because apparently they had hired somebody to do some work at their house who agreed, among other things, besides doing the work, to properly dispose of the material that was left over. And, somehow, I don't know how one of their bills or something got in there, but something with their address got in there. And apparently they showed this invoice to the enforcement officer, and that was enough. They went after the company instead of the homeowner for doing that. So that's one way. And then we also have cameras.
And I'll bet if somebody's credit card thing is for a purchase, I'll bet they can do it, right? Trace it down.
I don't know if our enforcement officers would go to that extent, but I don't know if they would get the police involved, but yeah.
So it depends how big that pile is over there. By the way, we used to get old boats dumped on where I live. It stopped. And I guess because I know there's cameras there. I haven't seen them yet, but I just have that feeling because the county has a lot of no dumping signs, no parking signs, and it's really kept the grass green. And so it also eliminates that. I was just sitting here, right? You mean with your trunk full of stuff, right? And when we drive down the street and we see piles of stuff in our neighborhood, what's the safe thing for people to do?
If you see the pile, you don't see the person dumping it, call 311. If you see somebody dumping stuff, do not confront them. When that happens, it's actually a crime in progress. You can call the police. You can call 911. And, if the police get there fast enough, they can actually catch the person, make an arrest if it's warranted and all that. But after the fact, when there's just a pile there, you don't see anybody, you don't see who's dumping the pile, you can call 311.
And I'm not sure if Rachel knows this story. One day, I see Rachel's, she's producing the show. By the way, did I tell you she's a school teacher, second, third, fourth graders? She helps the kids in math, all right, down in Florida City.
Cool.
So I see this guy dumping stuff. So I think I slowed down, took a picture of his. Oh no! He takes off. He sees me. We're going through horse country, and there's one road I want to. There's no cars on it. I chase him down 45th or something, 122nd, and at the stop sign at Bird Road, he's behind 3 cars. I rolled up and I said, "I got you." All right. I called the police with the license number. And I went back and took a picture. And one of the things of the site, and one of the police asked me, "Is the pile still there?" "Yes, I have the pictures. Send us the picture also." And they went to the guy's house. And he as soon as he went there, the cop, he said, "Yes, it was my word." He acknowledged it. And they said somebody had chased him. And at that point, I was pretty proud that I stopped it. Dangerous, especially as we're both stuck in the traffic
Most
next
wanted.
to each other.
Picture in the post office, most wanted.
Yeah. Rachel's chuckling over there. All right. And my truck goes pretty fast. All right. So, so somebody can call 311. They say there's a big pile out there. And also, let's talk about other stuff on the side of the road. And if there are big rocks, sometimes neighbors will put the big rocks to try to prevent somebody from pulling in. That's sort of dangerous. I know there's some rules on the size of those things. But if it's a rock, it's on the side of the road, which means if you pull off by this much, you can hit it. Can they also call 311?
That's a good one. I mean, they could call 311 anyway. What I don't know is if, what the rules are for that. That's something that's enforced by, I think, either Public Works or RER, which is Regulatory and Economic Resources. As far as what you can and can't put out in the swale like that. What you can and can't put out in the swale like that, that's not garbage or not waste.
Years ago, I put out pointed, the white things, curb things. I put pointed ones. I don't know why. The cops, it's code enforcement. He said you can't do those.
Oh, okay.
So they wanted the round ones. All right.
Okay, well, there you go, code enforcement, which is RER.
Oh. So, and they drive around, and some of your neighbors will call and on you and complain and take care of that. Okay. So, again, let's talk about the penalties. Can a policeman on site, if he sees you dumping it, they have a whole bunch of choices. So what are some of the policeman's choices at that time?
They can give you a civil citation. They can arrest you.
You mean arrest, like take you?
They can put the cuffs on and in the back of the police car.
Mommy, they finally got me. What'd you do, Sonny? All that trash was sitting out front.
You imagine Bohemian Rhapsody instead of, Mama, I killed a man. Mama, I dumped illegally. That would be something else.
Okay. So what are some of the penalties? The cops can go out. They can give you civil citation. They could arrest you, take you to jail, and you have to bond out, whatever that's going to be.
I did a little bit of research a while back, and I don't remember 100%, but if you get felony and, they decide the judge finds you guilty and they throw the book at you, I believe it's a 4 or 5 year sentence for felony. That's like the max that you can get. But imagine doing, 4 or 5 years because of illegal dumping.
I can't imagine 4 or 5 days. Now, other people in the room, parents were in jail all the time. Well, actually, he worked in the jailhouse, all right, so he understands that. So, so it's a big deal, and you don't want it on your record. Figure out some other way, to do that. And let's talk again about how the sides of the roads stay clean. What's the regular process for the county for tall grass or the place? It's just litter. That's all litter. Who takes care of that?
If it's waste on the right of way, the public right of way, as you call it, that's us. First thing we're always going to do is investigate to see if we can find who did it, and then we'll get it picked up. When you're talking about grass and that sort of thing, that's kind of tricky. If it's in front of somebody's house, then it's a swale area. They're responsible for maintenance of it. If it's in, the median on a major roadway, then depends on whether it's a state road or a county road. It's county.
Don't give up, folks.
It's
Keep
actually,
trying.
yeah. You can call 311 though, and they could sort those issues out. But it's they used to be part of Public Works. They're called RAM. Roadway something. I'm not sure what the A stands for, maintenance. And they're part of the Parks Department now, I believe. A public area like that, they would be responsible for mowing and that sort of thing, maintenance, that sort of thing. And like when palm fronds, this morning I was driving. As a matter of fact, trying to remember where the intersection was. No, it wasn't here. It was up in Doral. But yeah, I was driving and I saw a palm frond just fall right onto the middle of the road, and people were like trying to get around, and because they're kind of big, they can get big. But yeah, that's the sort of thing that would be either Public Works or RAM in the county would take care of that.
Speaking of Doral, thanks for bringing it up. 2023, the county's waste energy plant burnt down, and the county commission's been cooking around like a football because nobody wanted it. But I think the county commission is about to or already voted on it. Are you aware of what has occurred?
December 16 is the date that I understand is scheduled, unless it gets deferred or something happens where they award. They've received a couple of, I'm saying a couple of proposals. I don't even know what they've received, to be honest. And it's under cone of silence right now, whatever they've received as far as the number of proposals, that sort of thing. But I believe the day that they're going to make an actual award is going to be December 16th. It's scheduled anyway.
Yeah, this is a very big deal.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's a lot of money, and there's a really decades-long agreements. Nobody's doing it for 10 years, all right? That's forever.
If we're lucky, it'll take 10 years just to get it built and get it started up. So we'll hope. And then after that, it'll be however many decades the new facility is able to last.
And so in Miami-Dade County, we have a lot of construction that goes on all the time. And that all goes to some dump someplace. What are our solutions to this? We're going to burn a bunch of it, all right? That's one thing that's going to happen there. And I know those things are pretty clean at this particular point. But we consume products in our life that every day is either going up in smoke or in the ground or little pieces of it. With the old plant, what were the figures about? What percentage of the garbage would be reduced to just the snowflakes?
It was about a 90% reduction. So in other words, if you had 10 trucks come in full of garbage, it would be incinerated, and 1 truck of ash would come out. So it's a ratio of like 10 to 1. So
is the ash being used for anything right now?
What back then? Well, now it's just hills, and it's become solid rock basically. Where the ash fill, as we called it, the landfill where we buried the ash. At some point, we were looking at, and unfortunately, the fire threw things off. But we were looking at potentially having it be used in the making of concrete construction.
When you said it turned into concrete, explain that.
Not literally, but it's hard as a rock. Basically, over time, they filled this landfill, which is on site in Doral, right next door to the facility, the incinerator, the old waste energy facility. And as they filled, the landfill up, the stuff just became hard as a rock by itself. Ash, I don't know if it's the mixer with the rainwater or whatever, and of course they have different, protective measures that they have on it, but it became pretty hard.
Again, so, and the old way, what percentage of total garbage, trash, went to the incinerator and then reduced by 90%?
I want to say about 40% of our waste. Now you're asking me a question that I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know, but it was roughly 40%, if I'm not mistaken, of all the waste that we handled anyway, that would end up being incinerated.
Not that you know, but do you think that this is going to be a higher percentage you'll be able to get burnt and converted?
Don't know. I know that we are concurrently working on a zero waste master plan, and I know that there's a lot of a push for doing more composting. I just don't know what level it's going to be, if it's going to be large scale enough or, small scale. So that's going to reduce the amount of waste that would end up being incinerated.
I did hear that from the mayor. And then we had a show here where there was a worm farm down south, and they take stuff and bring it down there.
And they're part of the, if I'm not mistaken, it's there's the one, and I can't remember their name right now. Fertile Earth.
Did you do that show?
They are part of the MDIA, the Miami-Dade Innovation Authority Challenge that we did, and they were one of the people that won the challenge. So they're working on, I don't know if the full details of the project, they're working to try to scale it up, but they are one of the people that won the challenge.
And that's great. I forget who brought them in, but it was a great show. They brought in a bunch of their stuff. So with the composting was really done by the worms. They would go and they would eat it up. Did they do anything with the worms, or were they just?
I have no idea. But you're talking to somebody who loves to go fishing, so. But I have no idea what they do. I imagine they keep the worms, and I don't want to say they reuse them, but the worms are happy as long as they've got all this material. I imagine they keep them.
And our composter that we have in the house is perfect, right? Put all the food in there, everything but steak bones. It turns it into dehydrated mulch. That's what it looks like. And then notify when you have to take the canister out. I take it, I put it in the bushes. Don't put it in your yard because it's going to grow all sorts of stuff. You can have asparagus out there, and tomatoes, watermelon.
Hey, vegetable garden, instant vegetable garden. There you go.
We put an area where we put a new grass. We put a lot of dirt in, and I said, "Let me dump over here. Let me see what happens." Don't do it because you're going to have everything growing there. It's going to kill the grass, all right? So it's actually fun, and you feel good doing it. Ours happens to be electric, but there are plenty of people that have it out there, and they do it just regular. And I think that it's a wonderful thing with that. So here we are, almost first week, almost second week of December. How many years have we been doing this, Frank?
Oof. Did we start before? I'm like, in my mind, everything is before or after COVID. Did we start doing this before or after COVID? I don't remember.
It's been
a few years.
Yeah. So, and anyway, I'm really proud to see the Solid Waste Department starting to pick up some steam, and there's more attention being paid to it. And I'm glad that this administration and the county commissioners and the mayor are directing this, because the reality is we have to take better care of our stuff, and when we do that. Again, when last week when I went to the website Miami-Dade.com, Miami-Dade.gov/solid waste. There's 4 different pictures. Bulky waste pickup. You pick on there. What do you want to do? Okay. You fill out this little question. Really simple, and then you get to pick a date. I was so dismayed that I was like 2.5 weeks. I'm sort of an impulsive guy. So okay, calm down. That's it. And so a lot of people that know the system want to get their stuff done before the end of the year. And my guess is that they're already taken. So we're going to get our 25 yards or more, hopefully.
I will say that if you still have, for those who have either one or both pickups left, as long as you make the request before January 1st, by the December 31st, you're even if the actual pickup doesn't take place until next year, it counts towards this year. So you still have next year's 2 pickups.
But you have to make that reservation.
But you have to make it before January 1st. So by the end of the, and I strongly suggest don't wait until 11:50. Don't wait till the ball is dropping before you do it, because you never, there's a hiccup or whatever. Maybe the Wi-Fi goes out and boom at that moment, or everybody's on Wi-Fi, so it slows it down and boom, and your thing doesn't go in until after midnight. Then it counts for next year. So I wouldn't wait that late, but if you want to do it on December 31st online, make the request. It'll still be, even if the actual pickup date doesnn fall until the next year, it counts for this year.
And for the people that don't want to do it themselves, they can call 311.
You can call 311, but 311's not going to be open until 11:58 on New Year's.
So do it yourself or get a friend to do it. It's really simple, and I think it's good for people to be able to do that. Frank, it's the end of our tour here. Frank, thanks so much for being here and for doing
Thanks for having
what
me.
you do. I think we'll see you next week. And then
yes.
And then
after that, it'll be holidays.
Okay, wonderful.
All right.
Thanks so much for being here. Michelle, thank you for producing the show. We can look right over here. And remember the Disney rule, which is when you hug someone, don't stop until they do. Have a great day, folks. Thanks. Bye.